Let's fucking see if this guy really is naked. That's what we call raw.
That's gonna be a good visual for everybody.
Hello?
Hey, Wade. Can you see me?
Hey. I can't see you yet. It says starting video.
Okay. I can't see you either yet.
There you are. I see you now.
You do? Oh, there you are. Hey, you're not naked.
No. At least not up here.
That's right. From the waist down.
I might be.
That's right. Good. So we're going to I'll fix our screen here. Bam. There we go. So you can't see Randy, but Randy, we're talking to you. Seen that picture? I seen that picture where we're talking to that monitor, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So we're talking to a big monitor, and you're on it. So Randy's on the other side of me, so you see me, but there's two of us, so you might hear his voice. And,
Okay.
yeah. And we'll just shoot the shit, fire off some questions, yada yada. And if there's anything you want to, in particular, talk about, any topics, you throw it out there, man.
Okay.
Sounds good. So we'll probably just start off from the top. You are the current IPF super heavyweight champion of the world. Got the gold medal. What's some of the accolades on your resume? I mean, you got that's the big one right there. But you had at one point. Do you still have the highest Wilks in history? At one point, you definitely did.
Yeah, I still do.
Oh, you still do? So you beat Sergey?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
He got best lifter at Worlds. I needed that last pull or any of my squats to pass. But then the Ukrainian girl, Larissa, I don't know how to say her last name, the girl from the Ukraine. She was close.
Dude, I feel you. I was doing commentating for the IPF Worlds for the Classics. How many people? I was like, and here we have the Polish champion. Just totally out myself for not saying the last names. But yeah, but as it stands, you still have the highest Wilks of all time?
Yep.
Nice. So are you probably, okay, well, we'll take it right from the top, back it up. How did you get into powerlifting? And who was like your early mentor?
All right, so I got into powerlifting because I played football pretty much my whole life, through high school, all through college.
No shock there, my man.
Always did the heavy lifting stuff, but no real technique, no real training. Just training heavy to be a football player. Squats and benches. Didn't really do deadlifts. Got done playing football. Needed to still keep competing in something. I always loved the lifting, so powerlifting was a pretty natural transition.
Yeah.
And then kind of the first mentor and still person that I talk to my training about the most would be Dan Gaudreau. He's a 10 or 11 time now Masters World Champion, has some Masters World bench records. He's the one who really got me started into it.
Is he local to you?
He was at the time. He's in Aurora, Colorado.
Yeah.
I grew up in Colorado. I live in Oklahoma now.
Yeah. And Colorado, just for anybody who doesn't know, throwing it out there, is that not where Phil Heath and Brian Shaw are from?
That's very correct.
And you? Like, that's like, what is going on in Colorado that the world's strongest man, the strongest power lifter, and the Mr. Olympia are all from Colorado? That's nuts,
It's got to be something in the water or something in the air.
In the water or the air, man. That's crazy. That's a strong place to be. So then you started powerlifting. How old were you when you started powerlifting then?
I always lifted squats and benches for football, ever since high school. And I guess I was 100% done with football and 100% focused on powerlifting in like 2011. I was probably 24 at the time.
Yeah. And then ever since then, you've been full force into the power lifts?
Yeah, full force into powerlifting.
That's it. So you've really taken off into the geared. Do you prefer geared over raw? Or do you've done both?
Yeah, I've done both. Man, and I started to write an article about this, and I got sidetracked. Maybe I'll finish it one of these days. But I started in full time 2011. Raw wasn't even really a thing at the time.
Very true.
It was all equipped.
Yeah.
At the time I liked raw more because I train for football. I didn't want to mess with these suits and shirts. So I loved Raw. And then I won the first Raw Worlds there in 2012. And it was crazy how times have changed, because at the time, like, I was the first person to squat 400 kilos raw. No one else had even done 365 in the modern day IPL, because it's so new. And now, like, come on, everyone's doing it. But after I did that, there was all these equipped guys like Karl Ingvar Christensen, Andrei Konovalov, Vladimir Svistanov from Ukraine, Viktor Testov from Ukraine. And I went to the equipped worlds in 2012, and those guys just smashed me. Me. And it was frustrating because I knew I was, stronger than them. So I kind of set out, and I was like, these dudes are freaking legendary. Guys like Brian Siders, I used to look up to Brian Siders all the time too. Yeah. I just saw the numbers these guys were putting up, and they wrecked me. And I was like, I'm gonna challenge myself and do the hard thing. I'm not gonna sit here and raw. I'm gonna go chase this equipped stuff. So I've kind of dwindled in the raw stuff since then. I've had some hip injuries that have made it tough, but yeah, I'm more focused on the equipped stuff right now, especially for this coming year with World Games.
Yeah, and that's a big one, and that's because all eyeballs. I mean, what's the World Games? That's right with the IOC. All eyeballs are watching. I mean, that's a huge event. Is it tough to try to do both? Like, how often do you train raw? Because the grooves are different in bench, obviously for bench, but even squat, deads. I mean, everything's a little different. How often are you out of your gear training?
Yeah, I think I'm probably different than a lot of equipped lifters. I'm in my gear about every week. I'm still doing raw lifts, but I mean it's way down on the priority lifts. Mm-hmm. So like my first priority is my equipped squat, equipped bench, equipped deadlift, and then next it'd be some like top end bench press stuff. Things will carry over well with the gear, and then maybe further down the list would be like my raw squat, raw bench, raw deadlift.
Mm-hmm. And I also noticed too, because when you look like in your Instagram videos, maybe there's other people there and we don't see them. But it looks like you train a lot solo, right? Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, I say 97% of my training is solo.
That's so crazy. Look, A, you're moving some crazy ass weight. B, just getting in and out of your gear, wrapping your knees, the whole nine. You do completely solo, getting your shirts on, getting your gears on. So it's kind of surprising, especially the weight you move, man. With bench,
yeah. The most exhausting thing is on the squat is loading the bar and then like wrapping my knees and getting the straps up. Like I'm more exhausted by the time I get under the weight than I am from doing the weight. It's terrible.
That's your warm up, man. And even on bench though, with a shirt on, no spotters, no lift off, no nothing.
Yeah, I chopped some of the videos off at the beginning because I mean, God bless you, Chris, but my lift off guy is so fat. He can't be seen. But I got to lift for my heavy benches, the stuff over 800 pounds. I got to lift off guy.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah. I was gonna say, man, you're like, all right, lift me off, get the fuck up out the way,
yeah, that's how it works.
Okay, so is he your main dude that would be training with you then?
Yeah, I don't train with anybody. He comes in to help me, to give me lift off.
Oh shit! When you're the IPF champ, dude, show up just to lift you off. Wow.
Well, I mean, he's got his training there too, but I'm kind of a diva in there. Like I need my space. I need my. I gotta get it cranked up and do my thing, man.
That's right. So who does for your training blocks? Do you do your own programming? You have someone else, or?
Yeah, I do my own.
No shit, man. You were literally a man on an island. Holy smokes. So have you always done your own training blocks and programming?
From about end of 2012 and then part of 2013, I worked with Mike Tashir.
Yeah.
And he completely opened my eyes to kind of a higher frequency, different style of training. So I learned a ton from working with him and definitely use a lot of his stuff in my own training.
Yeah, and are you using RPE or percentage on those
He's
blocks?
RPE. Mike is Mike solely RPE, or does he do any percentage base?
When I worked with him, it was all RPE.
Yeah. I think because he's Mr. RPE, is he not?
He's the one who made RPEs popular in powerlifting.
Pretty much, yeah. And that's how obviously you prefer to train, is based off the RPE. Have you ever done any kind of percentage base?
Yeah, and I still do percentages. It's when I program my training for like the same set, same rep scheme, I'll have a percentage and an RPE. Okay. So it's like the percentage gives me a guideline. Like I know I should be around this number, which is a certain percent of my 1 rep max. But I'll if that number is too heavy or too light, I'll adjust.
And that's where like me and Randy kind of I'm an RPE guy. Randy likes the percentage, but it is I'm kind of like you say. This is how I walk in. A lot of people, you walk in there with the RPE and you got an idea of where you want the weight. And if it's not that, like if you get under that bar and you're like, hey, fuck, this isn't going to happen today, then you base it off the RPE. But sometimes having that number in your head, you're like, this is my goal, and you could somewhat whip yourself into that mental. And here's another thing, actually, me and Randy were talking about before we called you. Dude, you look like a maniac when you're in that friggin' squatting, benching, like, holy shit. I thought, is that in an open gym or is that in your own house? Is that in an open gym?
It's in a big gym, but it's my own room. There's got to be four enclosed walls.
Really? Is that the owner who's like, we need this dude spread out a whole room for him, or like how did that happen?
They need to keep him caged.
You would scare the shit out of a grandmother on a treadmill. Holy shit! It's entertaining. It's entertaining, man. Like I love watching your videos. That's why you got a following, right? But wowzers!
You got to keep the women and children away from the gorilla.
You ate like 3 kids on the way in. You're like, let's do this, man. Let's do this. So,
it's the most underrated pre-workout of all time.
That's right, man. Keep the proteins up. Protein's expensive, right? That's right. So do you do, well, here's a question I was going to ask you. Where did the name Vanilla Gorilla come from? Because I thought just because you're a big white dude. Or is that just, or is there a story to it?
There's a story to it. When we were in college, when we were freshmen at the Colorado School of Mines playing football, every Sunday we had a team meeting. And the freshmen had to entertain the team for like 10 minutes before the meeting, right? So our little group, freshmen got picked, and we were hosting like a fake boxing match.
Oh, shit. Somebody was boxing you? Don't tell me somebody had to box you. That fucking suck.
And we were just shooting off the hip, having like a fake announcement and everything, and we had this kid from the Ivory Coast, and he was our boxing announcer, and I didn't know what he was saying, but I was sitting there in my corner getting ready, and he goes, in this corner, from Conifer, Colorado, standing at 6'2", 300 and whatever pounds, the Vanilla Gorilla.
Oh, shit.
And they caught on.
Bam! From there, it's history.
Yep, exactly.
Well, it fits. Now, tell me you didn't... Is that other guy dead now that you boxed, or may he rest?
Yeah, he is.
R.I.P. Yeah, he is. Every time I lift now, I say a prayer to him. Good. In the face painting, is there a story to that, or is that just you're ready for fucking war?
They're just ready for war, man. You gotta stand out. You gotta stand out, man. They weren't cool at the Worlds though. They made me wipe it off at Worlds. So
is that right?
I got
no shit. Is it actual paint, or is it chalk, or what is it? Or is it
just
the blood
chalk.
of your enemies? No shit. Yeah. So how do you maintain that kind of intensity level? Like because you've been doing this for years, and day in day out, it looks like you're in the gym just killing it, and you get hyped. Like you get hyped when you're gonna. Like I get hyped watching your videos. That's the type of hype you get. So how do you get so hyped every time, day in, day out? Like, is it just mentally you bring yourself into a stage where you're thinking about the competition, you're thinking about the Worlds, or what is it? What do you put in your head?
Yeah, you just gotta want it. I mean, that's the thing that sets me apart, and what I've been able to do is just like having that mental state, needing to call on that inner demon anytime I need to get amped up. I mean, I'm like 6'3" with 6'5" long femurs.
Yeah, I'm glad you finished with long femurs. I thought you were going somewhere else with that. But that's and that's where you got Vanilla Gorilla from. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. So you were saying, so you get yourself whipped up. Is there anything in particular, like a specific thing that you draw on? Like, was there a football coach that told you you're never going to make it, or some shit like that?
No, I mean, I like my music. I get it cranked up, hit the ammonia. In my gym there, I've got my hate wall.
Whoa.
Things I've printed out and hung up to look at.
Oh, shit. Is there somebody on that wall we know?
Yeah.
Randy.
Now, it used to be a bunch of different stuff. Not necessarily everyone that I hated, but just things that motivated me. But now it's pure hate wall, and there's only one person on there right now.
Who's that?
Andrei Konovalov.
Whoa! There we go! Nice!
World Games, Poland, it's going down.
That's it? That's the big super heavyweight battle? And you want to bring it back for America?
Yep.
So would you say, is he your biggest rival? Who's probably, looking back at as a whole in your career, who's your biggest rival? Do you think? In terms of who really pushes you?
Man. I get...
In a weird way, Fedoshenko for the Wilks. Which is like so weird because you're total opposites. But in this sport, because we have Wilks, you two guys who are total polar opposites in size have been battling it out.
Yeah, that's a good one. You know what bummed me out is that at Worlds, he won Best Lifter, Wilks, and I was second. And at the banquet, we went up to go get the trophies. That's like my favorite picture is like Fedosenko and the heavyweight. I remember, I think Raw Worlds in 2015, Fedosenko got first and Ray got second or third, and you just see like Fedosenko and Ray.
He looked like he's a puppet you're gonna use.
Yeah.
or he was a trophy.
Or he was a trophy. You're like, oh, this is a cute little trophy. Thank you. You pick him up, you take him back.
So I was looking forward to getting my Best Lifter trophy taken with Fedosenko, but he wasn't there at the banquet to get it, so I was a little bummed.
He dipped out, eh?
Yeah.
No kidding. So who do you think would be your rival throughout? Is Ray a rival as well? Does he help push you?
Yeah, when I was doing the Raw stuff, we definitely went back and forth.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll return back to the Raw world anytime soon, but right now for sure I can say that Konovalov is my dude.
And you guys are head to head. How close are you guys totals? His best and your best.
He's my best and his best. I'm quite a bit ahead. I'm 28.03 on my total. His best is like maybe 26.50 or so.
Well, amateur.
The thing is, especially with that equip stuff, it's so hard to have a consistent meet. So he hits more lifts and he's more consistent about that total than I am. I need to get more consistent so I can hit that 2,800 every time.
How do you game plan when you walk in there? Do you have? Is it totally because with gear it's a little bit different. A misgroove, that shit you can't fight it out. Like you misgroove your bench, that's it, man. You misgroove a squat, that's it, man. You're not recovering. Whereas raw, you can recover.
Yeah,
it's a little bit different of a ball game, right?
It's tougher, man. It for sure gets the nerves more, and it's tough.
Yeah. Go ahead, man.
Who does your handling?
It's tough because I pretty much train alone, and if I have a guy wrap my knees or give me a lift off on the bench in training, I don't have him at the meet because no one really travels with me. Usually Dan Gaudreau, he pretty much goes to all my meets. So he'll handle kind of the game day coaching side of it. My dad's been helping me for a long time too. So when he comes to meets, he kind of helps out too.
Did he powerlift your dad?
Yeah. Yep.
No shit. Well, how did he do? Tell us a little bit about it.
He was good. He competed quite a bit before I was born, I guess, and he's been back into it the past 7-8 years, lifting in the Masters division.
Oh, okay. Is he a big guy too?
He's like 260.
That's big, man. That's big. Yeah. Maybe you're thinking he's average size. No, that's fucking big, man. That's a big dude. Oh, shit, good for him. Do you think that helps coming from a family where your dad was into powerlifting? Because it would help. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when I was growing up, he wasn't into powerlifting stuff anymore. And when I started getting into it, he kind of got back into it again to train together. So that was cool.
That helps. And it also shows that he wasn't pushing it on you. You kind of found it on your own then, right? Which is good.
Right, exactly.
When you started doing, I think about powerlifting, he's like, oh, shit, yeah. He's like, oh, hell yeah. Did you know about his powerlifting before? Did he bring it up? Did he not bring it up much? Okay, you did okay.
Yeah.
So you're aware it's going to go down that road. So in terms of some of your proudest moments, I mean, you're a pretty decorated powerlifter at this point, obviously. You got biggest Wilks of all time, the biggest totals. So what do you think is your most proudest?
It's tough, man. It's right between the two. The performance at the Arnold, where I got the biggest squat bench deadlift or squat bench total in Wilks, and then winning Worlds this year. And it's tough, because one, the Worlds is what it's all about, is winning that World Championship. Yeah. But then B, hitting those records at the Arnold. I mean, it was just a perfect day. So it's tough between those two, but those 2 days for sure.
And here's the thing, this is a conversation I had with some of our buddies. Like, what do you think is bigger to you? To win the world championships, which means you're the best on that day. Whoever brought whatever they brought on that given day, you were the best in the world. Or the world record, which means history. Nobody ever. What do you think? What would be bigger to you?
It is so tough, man. And the reason I'm so torn is because the world records that I hit at the Arnold were pretty big milestones too, like 500 kilo squat, 1100 pound squat. So that's like the first time that happened, and then same with the total, the 2800 pound total. So to me they're cooler than some of the other world records I've set, just since they're like such big round number milestones. Yeah. But at the same time, you can't beat that feeling of being on top of the podium in the world.
Yeah, so that's true too. Yeah, it's hard to say.
What's the most fucked up thing you ever seen at one of these meets?
Oof, man, you don't want to say it, but it's
go ahead.
It's some of these squat injuries.
What'd you see?
Back in I think it was the first year that the USAPL was at the Arnold, which was like 2008 maybe 2008. There was this guy named Jeff Lewis. He was like 550 pounds. And I was
like 550 pounds? Holy shit.
Yeah.
So he's a tank.
Yeah.
If he squats body weight, that's pretty good.
At the time, I still felt like a child, man. I think I was chasing like a 700 or 800 pound squat. Anyway, this big monster, Jeff Lewis, he was squatting like 970 or something at the time. And he comes up to the top of the squat and falls backwards and ruptures both patella tendons. And
holy
you got
shit!
550 pound man tumbling backwards with 970. It was
wowzers, man. So the spotters were just like, get the hell out the way, or did they even try?
Yeah, no, I think that happened so fast you don't have a prayer of saving it.
No, hell no. And here's the thing, man. Those spotters don't get paid. They get like a free slice of pizza. So you know what I mean? So you're like, I don't know, man. The pizza wasn't that good. To try to dive in there. No one's going to be the hero for you. No shit. What's the worst that you've gone through in terms of injuries? Have you had some like rough?
Yeah, it all. I say, I ruptured my L5S1 disc in 2007, 2008. And it still kind of affects me, but it's not debilitating. I'll tweak it every once in a while. But what really gets me is at the Raw Worlds in 2012 in Sweden, I tore my left hip labrum.
Jesus.
And then I took some time off and came back in 2013 at Raw Nationals and tore my other hip labrum. So those hip labrums are the worst thing that I have to deal with. I mean, I say 50% of the time Raw squatting is absolutely just terrible, terrible, terrible. So
is it, especially when you're like a big guy like you guys, where you're pushing some mad weight? You think the gear probably keeps you a little bit more in line? Like, do you think gear is safer?
Yeah. It's a double-edged sword, because you're obviously handling more weight. Like, a squat suit's not going to help your spine or your bones lift more weight. But at the same time, when my hips are really bad, I mean, they'll be to the point where I can't do 135 pounds with a raw squat.
Oh, shit.
And I can put that suit on.
What day is that? Because that's the day I want to challenge you to squat. No shit.
But you put that suit on, and my hip labrums feel they don't like pain free. So, and a lot of the guys I've trained with and have talked to who got beat up shoulders, beat up pecs, the gear, it feels safer. You can work through injuries and keep progressing.
Do you think that's because a lot of the masters still do the equipped, and maybe it speaks to like the longevity, because raw can beat the hell out of you. I mean, it's somewhat fresh and new with the IPF, so we'll see what happens when some of these younger guys move into masters. But we know with equip, some of these guys last forever when they're in equipment.
Yeah, exactly.
And maybe that's what it is. Except for like if you misgroove something, holy smokes.
Yeah, that's.
Do you think the shirt saves your shoulders a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Of the 3 lifts, and I think I know what the answer is, what's your favorite?
Squat.
Of course, yeah, that was an easy one. That was a throwaway one. I probably would have bet my life on that one. Is that the one you like training? Is not only your best, but the one you like training the most as well?
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah.
Sure.
And why do you think that is? Because you're the best at it? Or
That's exactly right.
That's exactly right.
There's just no feeling like putting 1,000 or 1,100 pounds on your back and just feeling it all and taking a step back, and it's just, I mean, this feels like life or death. So
it fucking damn well could be sometimes, man.
Yeah.
How often do you go into heavy singles?
When I'm in my gear, I do singles all the time.
Yeah.
I never really do reps, and that doesn't mean. Oh, y'all still there?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't really max out hardly ever at all in training, but I just train with singles. I don't worry. I don't try and improve my 1 rep max per se. I try and improve my opener, if that makes any sense. So
Okay.
I'm not going in trying to like push my max up. I'm trying to go in and an opener is supposed to feel and look a certain way of ease, and I just keep trying to bump that opener up, knowing if my opener gets that 90%ish number gets better, then my top end's going to be better.
Yeah, it's kind of like the RPE style, your RPE single of 8. So say RPE,
Exactly.
Keep bumping that number up type deal. So do you do a lot of, after you hit that heavy squat, do you back it off and start doing a lot of volume? Do you do a lot of volume for a geared lift?
Not in my gear, but I do a lot of volume, yeah. I'll back down and do some sort of squat variation that maybe doesn't bother the hips, leg presses, leg extensions, leg curls, things like that.
No shit. Okay, no kidding.
Have you ever had any meets that really bother you, like any disappointment, regret during the meet?
Not disappointment or regret. The thing that I've had a few times at meets that's frustrating is just the squat depth. You feel like you can squat to the same depth across a few different meets, and sometimes it's 3 whites and sometimes it's 3 reds. So that's the only part that takes a little bit of the fun out of it. You're worrying more about the depth than squatting.
Things like that are outside of your control.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's what bothers me is when the 2 side judges who see the depth are like, it's good, and the 1 front judge, and you can't really tell depth by that, is like, no, not on depth. It's like, dude, come on, man. Look at other things, but for depth?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's disappointing how often you see that.
What's your biggest pet peeve with the sport? If you could change one thing.
It'd just be consistency in the squat depth. Yeah. Other than that, I love it.
And what do you feel about if powerlifting was to get into the Olympics? Good or bad? Because I've heard some people say they like where it is now, because if it gets into the Olympics, some things will change, including we know how dirty the Olympics could get. And they think because we're not quite in the point where, once you get in the Olympics and there's a lot of money involved, some people start doing, like we see in Russia, the Olympics, they got banned for state-run doping. So some things might change, right? Some guys who are natural like you, all of a sudden dudes start coming out of nowhere and it's like, what the hell? So I don't know. How do you feel about it? Do you think the Olympics would be, you want to see it go in, or what do you think?
Man, of course I sit here and say, yeah, that'd be awesome for it to go in, but that's a good point. If it's in the Olympics, now it's more, there's more prestige, there's potential more sponsorships, more money, and of course that's going to try to bring out more cheating. So.
Yeah, and that's where, people, I've heard, it flips. I think it was Brett Gibbs who might have said on Instagram, someone asked him, when he did the Q&A for the IPF Instagram, I think someone asked him his take, and I just thought, absolutely, put it in the Olympics, and then he's like, well, people talk about, for instance, the track, and everyone says, we don't know, so I don't want to say, but everyone's like, how many of these guys are actually clean? And it would kind of rattle you. Like, you would see a total shakeup, if you go to the Olympics. But
the other thing, too, is our sport, unlike any other sport, even, Olympic lifting would be the closest, but unlike every other sport, so much of the outcome of powerlifting is just 100% strength.
Yeah.
On the Olympic side, you still got a whole lot of technique, but sports like running, track and field, even shot and disc, of course, there's a huge strength component to that. But powerlifting is it's almost all strength. Yeah. So you're going to see people who are way more inclined and are going to get way more help and will be way more better at their sport with the help of steroids than you would at other sports.
Well, you're also going to see whole countries backing it with, that you're going to have the supplements, the massage therapists, the coaching. Everything's going to change.
We're in Canada, right? And obviously Canada and hockey's huge in Canada. And, Because when Canada goes for hockey for the Olympics, it's gold or nothing. And you'll see certain nations, like, if you're 3 years old and you want to play hockey in Canada, there's a program to go into. Right now, you want to power lift, there's no, like, state-run programs really, right? But if it became an Olympic sport, shit, man, you could see places like Bulgaria or something all of a sudden launch huge programs, recruiting, and it could be a huge shakeup, which is both exciting and intimidating at the same time.
Yeah. Exactly.
But, who knows? I mean, until then, we got the World Games, which is by far, and that's the next event for you, is the World Games. You got nothing in between, right?
I do, man. It's going to be a tough year, you know. I got the Arnold. I haven't decided what I'm going to do at the Arnold, if I'm just going to do bench or what, but I'll be there still and decide what I'm going to do. And then we have our Nationals in May, which you got to do to qualify for World. So even that meet's still up in the air of me doing, because obviously 100% cards on the deck for World Games. So I'm a competitor. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to not go to the Arnold or Nationals.
That's the thing, right? Like, everyone walks in there thinking, I'll hold back a little bit. When that crowd starts cheering and it's on live stream and people are wishing you well on social media, it's tough to not let it all go, right?
Yeah, exactly.
How close? So I think the World Games, is that July or June?
End of July.
End of July. So March, all right, well, there's a bit of room in between. Frig, man, that's fairly tight to go all out.
It is, man. From March, from the Arnold until Nationals is about 10 weeks. And then from Nationals until World Games is about 10 weeks, which, I mean, it's really not all that much. So I got to decide what I'm going to do.
Definitely, I think the World Games is the biggest, though.
Absolutely,
You got to pick between. Do you have any goals you want to hit?
Obviously, it was just like the World Championships this year. Number one goal is just to win.
Yeah.
Other than that, I want to keep bumping up that world record squat, that world record bench, and that total.
Mm-hmm. Is Fedashenko going to the World Games? He's got to be, right?
Yeah.
And you want to beat him?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Take that best lifter?
Yep.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah. So, what's your take on the USPA Open happening?
Oh, yeah. Did you get invited to that?
No, I didn't.
Why didn't they?
I'm not cool enough, I guess.
Yeah, right. Well, maybe, because there's a lot of hype around that. Well, like the biggest thing that shocks so many people is the prize money being 40 G's US is freaking nuts, man. And that's kind of shocking. Send you invites and you say you got the biggest Wilks in history in the IPF, or maybe that's why you didn't get invited, right? I don't know. Who knows? Works both ways. What would have been your take? Would you if you go there, you could risk suspension, obviously. So do you think it would even be worth it for you, 40 G's? I mean, you could go natty.
None of us ever got into this for the money. So if there's an opportunity like that where now you can make a little bit of money, I don't know if it changes it or not. I wouldn't want to do this for the wrong reasons. If I was doing it for the wrong motivations, I wouldn't have the same drive. So for me, it's not about the money. And I know that competing in the IPF and the USAPL, there's certain companies that see the legitimacy and value in those, and I get certain sponsorships that I wouldn't if I was lifting somewhere else. I'm not making 40 grand a year making up for the US Open, but competing at the IPF Open Worlds and the legitimacy associated with the IPF, it definitely opens the door to some pretty bigger, more legit sponsorships.
Yeah. And who knows? I mean, if it's a sign of things to change, that $40K being offered at that U.S. Open, maybe it goes around to some IPF meets as well, and some other. It depends on how the economics of the sport go, really. But once that got everybody's attention. When I watched that and I added it all up, it's like $250,000 in awards being handed out, and it's like, how is this even possible? It's powerlifting. Yeah. It's powerlifting, man. Yeah. We're not on TV or pay-per-view yet.
But see, I'll be most interested to see if that meet lasts, if it comes year after year, because the WPO used to put up big money, and then this is something you hardly ever hear about anymore, especially in North America, because the equip stuff seems to be dying with that Russia Super Cup of Champions. I'm gonna have the numbers wrong here, but the one that Milanachev and Yaron all those dudes did every year, that single ply IPF rules, minus the drugs. Meet in Russia. It was some big meat promoter who, from what I heard, just has a lot of money and loved the sport of powerlifting. The prize money there was like, I mean, it was in rubles, and I'm going to forget what it was in U.S. dollars, but I think first place was $25,000-$30,000.
Oh, damn! See,
and that's hardly talked about anymore.
So here's the thing, and I think the U.S. Open is along the same lines where it's not necessarily an indication of where the sport is economically. I think it's just a dude who's got tons of money and doesn't mind giving it away, which is amazing. That's great. Frick, man, we need somebody like that with the IPF. You know what I mean? How do we not take this guy out for dinner and talk to him and be like, hey, come and sponsor the IPF? Sooner or later it's going to happen. Sooner or later.
Yeah, you would think so. And then, with the U.S. Open, that obviously the IPF and USAPL tries to hang their hat on being the biggest, most recognized, legit federation. Yeah. Well, if you got a competing organization out there ponying up this kind of money, it kind of turns the heat up a little bit.
It does, yeah.
If you got two comparable federations and one of them is offering stupid money, well, of course people are going to gravitate to it there. So if IPF and USAPL wants to stay the top dog in town, they're going to have to find some money too.
You'll figure it out. You'll be like, well, I mean, we might not have the money right now, but how do we bring this kind of money to the table? And, I mean, it'll be interesting to see. So we don't know yet, the roster in terms of the U.S. Open or who's going and who's not, but it'll be interesting to see who jumps ship and then what the repercussions are for these people jumping ship. 40K, that's a lot of dough, man. If you honestly think you could take that money, 40K is a lot of dough.
You really can't hate on a dude for jumping ship to go chase 40K.
Everybody's financial situation is different. If you're already making six figures, you might be like, hey, look, 40K is, and I think 40K is actually big for everybody. Who's kidding who? Who's laughing at 40K? That's crazy, man.
Well, the thing is, it's up to 50,000 if you're first in your category,
world records. You get money for world records too.
50,000 for
Jesus,
everything.
Man, one day.
Yeah.
Well, you got to train leading up to it, and that's where it'll also make you think. We were talking about this earlier with other guys, but what some of these pro strongmen like Zydrunas Stefikis, Brian Shaw. You're looking at Eddie Hall. You look at 40K. You're gonna start bringing in some dudes like that if you're not careful, right? Yeah. Those dudes will be like, "Shit, I'll open up my schedule for 40K." You know, who wouldn't? What am I doing that day?
I'm passing by. I might as well go win $50,000.
Especially if you're Brian Shaw and you're in the U.S.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. We'll see. I don't think he's showing up, but if I knew 40K is on the table and that's Brian Shaw, I'd make a phone call. It's worth a phone call. I shoot an email to somebody.
But it's amazing to see who got the invites. I mean, it's shocking that he didn't. It's that shocking.
Well, it is a Raw though. It's only Raw, right? They don't have they're not offering an equipped division for the U.S. Open, are they? I don't think so.
I have no idea.
I don't think they are. So that might be, maybe they're just targeting Raw lifters, maybe, and that's why. Also, you come in with the biggest wilks, maybe they don't want you there right now. They're going to see what happens first. We'll see. We'll see. Because I don't think, I think there are some names that were left off. I don't think Ray got invited either. I don't think so.
So, go ahead.
Yeah, a lot of the people that I've talked to, the IPF guys, they kind of had a standing invitation almost. I mean, for sure if Ray would have been like, hey, can I come to this meet? They're not going to, they're not going to say no.
I'm sure any of you guys, anybody who's an IPF world champion makes a phone call, they'll take the IPF world champion tag and be like, F yeah. That's gonna instant credibility to whatever they're trying to do. You're putting in $250,000, you want as much credibility as possible. You're like, hey, I think I might be interested for the 40K. They're like, fuck yeah, we're going to move somebody. Somebody's getting bumped if they have to, right?
Yeah.
But for sure.
So do you do any coaching?
Yeah, I do online coaching. I got a website, BlaineSumner.com.
There we go. I was going to say, plug that bad boy right now, man. Plug it. So what kind of coach? So you do online? Is it also in person, or what kind of coaching in terms of how you structure your programs? Is it raw, equipped, the whole nine?
Yeah. So I have kind of my two most popular options are a coaching option where it's like one-on-one over the internet, weekly feedback, and then another one just custom programs. Mm-hmm. the custom programs are what I try and do more of. And I do absolutely anything. I have a pretty detailed questionnaire that I work with people on, so I make it work for anyone's schedule, how many days a week they want to train, what kind of frequency they want to do, any special limitations on equipment, exercises, injuries, any length of time, whether it's 4-week quick turnaround or a 16-week off-season cycle.
No sure. Do you do RPE as well as like based off percentages, whatever they like, or do you have a specific that you like to do? Or
yeah, I do both. Every program I send out, it's the same way that I train myself. I prescribe an RPE and a percentage, so they can use either or. So, I have certain RPEs for a certain rep range relate to a certain percentage. So they're given a percent of their 1 rep max, but also an RPE. So it's kind of what we were talking about earlier.
That's right. And is it mostly powerlifters, or you take all athletes who want to get stronger?
I'd say 90-something% powerlifters. I've had a few, like men's physique, even women's figure. People contact me looking to add on muscle, and then just a lot of kind of everyday guys just looking to add size. Is
it shocking when that happens? It feels like, I can just say for myself, like, I think because powerlifting is growing as a sport, and people are understanding it more and realizing how it can actually benefit other athletes. Oh, let me cell phone here. It can benefit other athletes, not just bodybuilding, obviously bodybuilding for sure, because guys like Arnold Schwarzenegger was a national champion powerlifter, Ronnie Coleman powerlifted, whatever, but even like football players, hockey players up here in Canada, hockey players, getting powerlifting coaches and strength and conditioning coaches, like, it's really opening up the possibilities. Are you seeing some of that yourself, where like people from other sports are starting to contact and you're kind of surprised, like, oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, every person who's doing any kind of sport, whether it's a team sport, football, basketball, soccer, hockey, or someone doing physique, bodybuilding, I mean, squat is the perfect example. Every person doing any of that stuff needs to squat.
Yes.
It's going to make them better.
Yes,
it's going to make them better athletes. You put more muscle on.
Yeah.
And if you want to become better at squatting, who are you going to go to? You're going to go to the people in the world who are best at squatting, which would be powerlifters.
That's right. So
which
you should have said, you should have said, which would be me.
Which would be me.
That's right. There you go. Nicely said, man. You got any others in there?
No.
Is there any other topics that you wanted to bring up yourself?
That's what I was going to say.
Because we're kind of done.
Man, the only thing I can touch on is the raw versus equipped thing. That's always on my mind.
Yeah, is it? Okay. Let's get in it.
I've been working on this article, and I just...
Another one? Like, is it another one or the same one?
No, it's the same article.
That's a good article.
I don't know, I get tired of writing.
Okay.
It's funny to me because, like, I did my first powerlifting meet in 2006, but I was never gung-ho into it until I was done with football. And it's been almost like a night and day. You can see a flip that's been switched.
Yeah.
Like, up till 2011, 12, I mean, raw powerlifting wasn't even a thing. They had raw nationals, but, God, I mean, maybe 20 people showed up. Just raw wasn't a thing. Like, powerlifting was equipped. That's all there was to it, was powerlifting was equipped. And the argument was always like single ply versus multiply. Just raw wasn't even a thing. And now it's crazy. It's like you flip a switch, and I saw it happen over like a 2-year period, really, from kind of 2013 to 2014, 15-ish.
2013 to 14, yeah. I can speak for in Canada. I think it was 2013. Boom goes the dynamite, man. In terms of people showing up, it's crazy.
Yeah. And it frustrates me because, like, I had my hip injuries in 2012, 2013, and at that point I saw these guys like Carl Ingvar Christensen and Konovalov and Testov and Sistanov and Brian Siders, all these dudes, and I was like, I want to chase that. That's what I'm doing. Like, kind of at that point I made that transition in my head. I'm gonna chase these guys, chase these numbers. And at the time, the rest of the world's like, we're going to only give a crap about raw lifting now.
Well, do you feel like it's the rest of the world or mostly North America? Like,
it's only North America.
Yeah, because I think Europe is still pretty equipped. I mean, I interviewed Gaston, and I think he was saying, Randy was there, I think he was saying there's still, I think the per numbers, did he not say equipped was still the bigger one than raw?
Yeah, I believe it's up there.
Because the raw they squish masters, juniors, everybody together. Equipped, they split it up. I think there still might be, over the IPF, there's still more equipped lifters.
Are you talking like attendees at the World Championships?
I think period. And so
like
overall, I don't want to misquote Gaston.
Like overall people paying into the IPF, right?
I believe.
I think the numbers are pretty close actually. Like I think on the two of them, what's equipped and what's in raw. So
I believe so. Yeah, I'm not. Don't quote me on this, but Gaston was saying he gave me the impression there's more equipped lifters than raw. But I think North America, it's a little different.
Well, I think it's Europe is why. Is Europe the amount of lifters that are equipped over North America?
I think even in Asia, I think Japan and there's more equipped as well. You're just in the wrong place, man. That's it.
And I'm just curious to see what's going to happen in the future because, like, at all these local level meets in the United States for sure, it's like equipped lifting isn't even a thing hardly.
No.
And so you might have like one equipped lifter in a 50-person meet, and with it dying like that, and you can't really jump into the gear if you don't have anybody with you who's ever done it, because it's not just one of those things. It's not like a slingshot you can just throw on and
rock and roll.
So I'm just
But do you think it's a lot to do with the cost? So too, I mean, like raw, you can get in basically with nothing, a pair of Chuck Taylors, and walk in and you're good to go.
And you're rocking and rolling.
You're rocking and rolling on your first meet. And equipped, you pretty much. I mean, like other than you, most guys have a team to get them in and out of the outfits, put the wraps on, like.
And you're kind of hitting on that too, where there's a skill to be knowing how to use the shirt, knowing how to groove. Whereas equip, in terms of the money barrier and skill barrier, it's a little bit more just raw strength, where you don't have to learn it as much. A lot of people don't want to learn shit, man. They want to hit that and just be good and quick, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's all about the barriers to entry, because
That's it.
In my opinion, you're not going to have somebody who's started powerlifting in 2013, 2014, who's the best in the world raw. It's a very small chance that person is going to be like, I'm going to try this equip stuff, knowing that it's going to be a 3-4 year period until they can probably be top in the world equipped. So no one's going to want to take a step off the pedestal, being the best in the world, to try and equipped. And man, powerlifters are just cheap. They're so cheap. Like
no shit. When you sell programs, dudes are trying to nickel and dime you. It's like, come on, man.
It's terrible. My fiance does women's figure, and like you hear these powerlifters complain about a $150 bench shirt, like it's so expensive. And these figure girls, and I mean bikini, physique, any of those, they're dropping like $1,200 just for a suit, and then like hundreds of dollars for hair and makeup and tanning.
Yeah, man.
And then the online coaching stuff, it's like if you're a powerlifter and you charge kind of $300 for 12 weeks, seems to be about common.
People are pissed.
On the other side of they're like, no, that's ridiculous. On the other side of the world, it's like they pay $1,200 for 12 weeks.
Yeah, man, for dieting the whole line. Yeah, man, they're cheap. It's tough. Yeah. Man. It's a rough business to be in.
Yeah.
And what you were saying too with the quit, like absolutely, I think that the money's an issue. Learning is an issue. Also, we were like talking to some people how quickly some raw people get involved in the sport and hop into nationals, make it to the worlds pretty quick. They pick it up. Whereas a quit, there's going to be a learning process, man. Like it's legit. There's going to be a learning process where like 5 years down the road you might make it to the worlds or something like that. And people don't want to hear that. People don't like long term. It's like, where can I make it? If you were to sell somebody a program and say, I think I could get you so far in 4 or 5 years, or if you say, give me a year, you're going to be in nationals. Give me 2 years, you're at worlds. You're going to lose out every time. That's another thing where...
But the other part of it is you don't really see the IPF advertising equipped. Like where people can go to seminars and learn how to use the equipment and see how hard it is or how easy it is. Like, because what you're doing is basically...
The lost art?
Right, you're seeing guys that just show up at the gym with a pair of sleeves and a belt and throwing on...
If you try to do it yourself, you're fudged. But if some dude... That's true, too. That's very true. If you're in the middle of nowhere, if Blaine Sumner is not in your hometown... You could do online coaching for me and tell me, here's a program. I go buy a shirt, I could kill myself. You know what I'm saying? I need you there. Where it's, if you're from a town and you don't have a team of dudes who show you how to. And that's the scary thing is, the more guys who stop using equipment, the less dudes, or that's kind of where the dying art of it.
Well, that's exactly. It's a dying art, and it's mostly like who you learn from. It's the masters. That's the only guys left that are really doing it. And the younger crew is just kind of fading out.
That's why Blaine is a national treasure.
Yeah.
Right? Keep Blaine alive. Keep him around. Well, you got to hold the market. Anyways.
Yeah, it's crazy. It'll be interesting to see what happens in the future.
So here's a question. Last question that I like to ask. How would you like to be remembered in powerlifting, in terms of your journey in powerlifting? How would you like to be remembered?
The first to squat the 500 keys.
There you go. That's a big one. That's it.
That's 500 kilos.
There you go, man. Sounds good to me. All right, man. Anything else you want to throw out there?
No, thank you guys for the interview.
Thanks for coming on, man. We'd love to have you again. I mean, obviously, you got some big competitions coming up, leading up to, maybe afterwards, whatever. Keep in touch, man, and good luck with everything.
You bet.
All right, man. Talk to you later.
Guys.
Thanks.
No problem. See you. Yeah, there's 500 keys.
That's a good one.
That's a good one, man. It's those round numbers. It's always going to be, if it's even 500, if it's, I was the first to squat, 495 keys.
It's funny. It's funny though, like because we've talked about it, we never really touched on that. Was his what he said there about equipped becoming a lost art? Like
it's true.
It truly is.
It's true, and that's the barrier. Like money is a barrier, but learning that shit. Think about it. If
there's nobody left, like at the gyms we have just where we are locally. Like if I was to say I want to learn.
If you want to learn how to squat,
I got to advertise to find somebody. It's not like I can just go.
If you want to learn how to squat, you want to learn how to bench. You can find dudes. You can find even guys who aren't even necessarily power lifters, but they know how to squat, like Olympic lifters. I'll stop short of saying CrossFitters, but they'll know how to squat and shit. But if you need to be like, I need to know how to squat in a full-on suit, and it's not the same. No. Or bench in a shirt, which is totally not the same.
Or walking out in wraps. I mean, they say that's one of the hardest things is just learning how to walk.
Because you're going to walk out a shitload more weight. Yeah. So it's a lost art. That's another barrier. That's why guys like him, for real. I mean, we joke around. He's a national treasure. Who knows how many more, especially in North America, we're going to have a Blaine Sumner. It's like, who do we have in Canada? Who's our super heavyweight equipped guy? I don't even know. Oh, we know Kelly Breton, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's like you said, it's an art, and I mean just little things like okay, you get into it and you're pretty good at it, but some of these guys just wrapping knees as an art. You know what I mean? Like you learn from somebody, and it may take 50 pounds off your weight because, or you may just have to blow your knee out because you didn't wrap your knee right.
And will shit get watered down? Where some people are like, here's the thing, okay? If you see the popularity diminishes, but also so will the competition because the talent pool's going over to Raw. Some guys will jump in, but you'll see it'll start getting watered down. Some dude who doesn't know how to wrap knees, some dude who doesn't know how to do all this shit is jumping in there and kind of taking advantage because now no one else around in his area is doing it.
Or there's nobody in his weight class anymore. Like it's just faded out. He knows that in Raw he's pretty close to this guy in equipped. Why not take a run at equipped? Let's learn it and go.
One thing I will say in Europe though, I do think this is just what I'm hearing. Gaston was telling us it's still pretty big in Europe.
Yeah.
I don't know where it's like it. It feels like it's shifting. We're gonna have to see if equipped. It'll never die. I don't think it'll ever die out.
Yeah.
It's still big. If it's still bigger than classic and the classic division's huge, I don't think it's gonna die out. But it's just gonna be minimum. I mean, I know in Canada, you show up in some divisions, you are the national champion.
Yeah.
You are the national champion if you show up. Just show up.
But he's right though. I mean, like you think of all the meets we go to. How many times you see equipped?
I don't. I mean, again, we're speaking from North America.
And you've been doing this how many years? You used to see how much?
2000. So, yeah, when I started in 2007, so we're closing on 10 years. Initially, so IPF, like he said, it was only, he's talking IPF, it was only classic. Or, sorry, it was only equipped. Yes, only equipped. And the guys, when I started training with the Iron Foundation, I was the only dude who was like, I would think I want to go raw. And they're like, what? Nobody goes raw. Everybody was equipped. Every single person on the team, Alex, who you know, like my mentor, was like equipped. And then he started doing some raw competitions when I started doing, because I kind of put the bug in the ear, like, no, man, I like raw. And I remember at that point in time, no bullshit, everyone's like, IPF will never go have a classic division because too much money and gear, right? Like sponsors, etc. And they'd be pissed if you open that division up. And then exactly what he said, I was around when I seen before the IPF went raw, and there was like a couple other feds that like had a classic division. And then as soon as the IPF went raw, and it's 2013-14, like he said, boom.
Well, not only that, like we talked about, but I mean, you said that they'd be pissed because they took away like the sponsorship, like that money. You know what I mean? So people
that's what they thought.
No, I know. So people are going to buy things, but I mean, now they got SPD. They got, you know what I mean?
And that's what people didn't foresee.
Right. So I mean, like you got the SPD, the Titan. Like you see this stuff, and I mean, you see an Instagram video now. Show me one that doesn't have SPD, Titans.
So here's what ended up being. Before it happened, people thought like a bench shirt's $300, a singlet's like 60, 70, whatever. Yeah. So people were thinking. Or like a squat suit could be hundreds and hundreds, way more. So initially, what people thought before it went raw was you're making so much more money on gear, so they will never go like open up that classic division. They're going to piss people off. But what they didn't realize is the volume, exactly that. Other people who would be watching powerlifting, I'd have people like in the gym be like, "You powerlift," and when they actually like saw online video or something, like, "What the hell is going on with these guys who can't even put their arms down, bench shirts?" And they're put off by it and thought because they can't relate to it at all. And then as soon as they open that up and you can relate to it, jabam. Like, I mean, in Canada, it's exploded by like 8 times as many people now powerlift.
Well, I think Gaston said just under 220,000, like 215,000 members worldwide now.
It went nuts.
It would have been neat to. It would have been pretty neat to see that actual statistic. Like we were both shooting off the hip there on whether equipped or unequipped and what the numbers are. But
yeah. The exact numbers.
The exact numbers. It'd be interesting to see. And it'd be interesting to see the transition of how many people went. Like, you know, you'd have to see one of their stats to see it, but how many people switched from one to the other, you know?
It is, and also by region. I believe, and I'm just eyeballing up, but I think Europe, parts of Asia, Japan, etc., a little more still equipped. They're really big in equipped bench and stuff like over in Japan, but it's still, there is a tide turning. You go to the classic worlds, there's more people, like I think, in certain countries than in some of the equipped. It does look like, if you look at the two worlds, you know, you do see the nations that favor equipped and favor classic, but is there changing? I mean, 5 years from now, who knows? And the scariest thing, like powerlifting's getting huge. Will there be eventually a bubble where, okay, this is as big as it's going to get? Or is this, in 10 years, people are going to look back at what we're doing now and be like, that was small time?
Well, it could be, you think of it, the transition, so Raw takes off, powerlifting's becoming huge worldwide. You're seeing it everywhere. So you're going to start seeing more true powerlifting gyms open up. Like, not just the old barbell clubs, but a real powerlifting gym.
That's something new that I've seen. Yeah.
So what's interesting about that is you may see that transition back into the equipped as the powerlifting opens up, because they'll have the gear there for people to start trying and testing. And I mean, that's a thought, right?
Or you come in, the barriers, like we talked about barriers with Blaine, the barriers are gone, so you step in because of Raw. But once you're in it, you start seeing guys like Blaine and Fedoshenko, shit like that, and you're like, I wouldn't mind giving this a go.
Well, you're going to see,
and then all of a sudden,
you're going to see the attempt, right? Like, you're going to be able to actually try it. Like, you know, we go to any gyms locally here, I cannot try that stuff. There's no gear for me to try. So if you got a true powerlifting gym, which if the trend is going right,
there's that old master in the corner, and you're like, what are you doing over there? Were you wrapping your knees? What's that suit you got on?
I hate saying it, but I mean, you look at how fast CrossFit took off. If something like that took off with powerlifting, you're going to see. I mean, there's a CrossFit gym on every corner now, so you can start seeing like.
I can tell you straight up, when I first started powerlifting, I told you, linked up with the Iron Foundation, everybody was geared. It was just them. Yeah. And I mean, not just them in this hometown, but like all around. For like a while, there was just them. Now, every single gym in the city's got powerlifters, or people powerlifting, or powerlifting team, or a coach, right? And everyone wants a coach. And so right off the bat, we're exploding in terms of that. What we need now, the next level would be, you know, CrossFit got Reebok. Reebok bought it. They seen the value and said, we're going to buy this, put it on TV, and explode it out. I think the next step will be, and we somewhat touched up on, is someone actually buys in with powerlifting and said, look, it's not there yet, but I see potential.
I'm surprised Reebok hasn't tried to buy it. I mean, they're buying everything. So, I mean...
why this shit not?
But you're right, though. Like, you think about it, Adidas, Nike, like is somebody in there buying this up?
There's just a lot of people. The IPF worlds, it gets viewership. It's worldwide. Yeah. SPD and them, they're making coin. Like, there's coin to be made.
Yeah.
And I mean, now, like, put gear aside, even shoes are expensive. Period. Reebok, Adidas is a natural fit, man, and they already make squat shoes.
Yeah.
Buy in and sponsor some of these big events. Throw it on TV. People will watch. It is entertaining.
It is entertaining.
Yeah. And we're in things like the World Games, you know, and with all due respect for the U.S. Open, like, that's good and stuff, but I think the IPF's got, because they work with the ILC, it's the biggest, like...
The potential's there. They just got to work it. They got to work that angle and get it.
It's just that one sponsor, and it's tough, man. It's easier said than done, but how do you get them on board?
It's
They're doing all the right things. Working with the IOCs, World Games.
They're doing the right things, but like any other sport, they need someone throwing it out there that's really going to make it big. Like I mean,
they need the Reebok.
They did that, but they also need a member. They need someone who's really getting that following. I mean, you know, throwing out there UFC, Conor McGregor. Bam. You know what I mean? Like, they need someone to really throw it out there for someone to buy into.
Here's the thing.
Because the money's got to get drawn in.
Here's the thing, though. I think you're going to need both, and I agree with you with that. But right now, if Conor McGregor came in and was powerlifting, his viewership, like for us, 100,000 people is huge for watching.
Yeah.
But you know, you can't get that many people excited. Like you need a platform, anyways.
Yeah.
We're not on TV or pay per view. Conor McGregor, they were already on a pay per view, so he had that platform, that big microphone. Whereas we don't really have that yet.
No, that's what I'm saying, though. But it just as the social media grows and everything gets going, you're going to see few people stick out more and more. You know, and that'll be good for the sport. Like somebody's going to want to buy it.
It is. Social media is helping with that. Show personalities. Guys like Dan Green, huge following. Even like guys who aren't even into powerlifting look up Dan. Or for Ray Williams.
Yeah.
Ray Williams broke into the mainstream. It's just he's a colossal monster, straight up a comic book. Fox will follow him.
Well, you look at the
youth.
The youth is going to look at the people that are the most famous, and they're going to go, that guy's got Adidas on, SBD, whatever else. That's what I'm buying. I'm buying the Inzer belt. I'm buying the SBD belt.
For sure.
You know, they're going to buy whatever that guy's wearing because they want to be him.
Yeah.
That's their idol.
Yeah.
You know? But,
all right, man. So I think we wrap it up there.
Yeah.
Next, we're about to interview Marissa Inda, but whether or not that's the one that's going to be popped on YouTube, we'll see.
Okay.
See you guys next week.